Almeda, you have shared in our Youth Ministry Initiative Symposium the importance of practices as the foundation and the anchor of youth ministry. And one of those practices that you've emphasized is the practice of testimony or witness. But I'm imagining that many youth ministers who hear that and share that conviction will want a little guidance on how do you walk with the young people you're ministering to create the space and the relationships and the comfort level that permits them to reach into those spaces and share their witness.
Mm-hmm. One of the interesting things about testimony sharing, or this idea of public witness, is that particularly for young people who often are marginalized in our society or told, just to sit there and look pretty, which is an interesting phenomenon because they're either hypervisible or silenced. But one of the things that often comes up is that in the invitation to share, they will be reticent at first, but when we model it and invite them into this ongoing space where sharing is normal, then it changes the dynamics. In particular, I remember one church that I did research on and that I worked with. We had a youth service, your typical youth worship service with a youth pastor and a praise band, but there was also a time where we shared testimonies. And the youth minister modeled this for about 6 months. And of course, we had ringers. You would get 1 or 2 students that you helped write their testimony. And at first, people were like, are we going to script it? Are we going to give them a template for how to witness, to how to share? And the answer is yes, because Christian practices have structure, have order, have standards, and there's a way in which a testimony is not a complaint session. A testimony is not for you to vent. A testimony is where we give witness to what God has done in our lives. It could be triumph over a struggle. It could be persisting in the midst of some kind of problem. And when you gave them the template, when you gave them the structure, they were like, oh, this isn't as hard as I thought. You just want me to see where I saw God this week and then tell somebody else about it and encourage them that God can come in the midst of AP exams, or God can come in the midst of a track meet, or God can come when you're fighting with your parents. And I can tell them that I did it. And then there's some middle schooler or junior high schooler who's looking up to me, a senior high student, and says, if they could get through this, then maybe I can as well. And it sounds really simplistic, but we had to give them structure, and we had to invite them to say, isn't there something that you're really excited about? And during the course of our week-long symposium, other youth ministers were like, yes, I've been doing this. We called it something different. We might call it God moments. We might have students text message or put something on Facebook about something that that had happened for them that week. And all of that becomes what I consider a new manifestation of this ancient Christian practice of testimony. Sometimes it comes out in terms of sending tweets out. And then it can be formalized in worship, or where we can invite them in youth group to stand up and share. But the foundation for that is building upon the things that youth are already doing. If they sent their youth minister a text message, then you invite them. Well, can you share a little bit more about that when we get together in youth group? If they posted on Facebook and you saw it, because I'm a Facebook stalker of my youth, I will watch and see what they're talking about during the week. And I might ask them, would you like to share that in the middle of youth group? And that's one of the ways that we invite them in.